I have to allow myself, to have my moments. If I can't give you something right now, that's too bad. I don't have it. I can't give it to you. So when I have it, I can give it,
Yeah. On est back d'amour et de sexe, Karen et ma main J.U.D.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
Et comme chaque semaine, on revient avec un ou une invitée, mais cette semaine, c'est particulier parce qu'on a la gagnante du concours qu'on avait fait avec Tammy Tuesdays et nous fait plaisir. Et donc je te laisse te présenter. Aujourd'hui, on reçoit
Onisha.
Yay!
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this giveaway. I'm so excited to be here and to talk about this topic because it's important, So, basically, for my background, just to introduce myself quickly, I am an author. I'm a motivational speaker. I actually was working in nursing before doing everything that I'm doing right now. Okay. And with COVID, I actually took the chance to just really work on myself, work on my business, and, take that chance that most people are not taking right now, right? And it's just been very, very good for me. So I've been, working from home full time. I'm also a web designer, so I do web designs and everything like that. I'm a graphic designer. I pretty much do everything. So.
Everything. Yo, c'est vraiment bien. Et d'ailleurs, tu as dit un truc qui est vraiment cool que tu as fait, c'est que tu as profité du temps du Covid et tous les confinements pour faire quelque chose et améliorer ta vie. Tu vois, il y a plein de gens qui étaient juste perdus, il y a plein de gens qui n'ont pas profité de ça pour...
most people had just really stayed home during the pandemic or, taken the money but not invested or, really had just completely given up, was lost, like you said, right? And I really just took that moment to kind of work on myself. For the longest time, I really wanted to write books, and I was able to write 4 books in 1 year. So I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
We have to kind of get a move on,
Yeah. C'est super inspirant.
Yeah.
Très inspirant, yeah.
Thank you so much.
OK, so avant qu'on commence, je laisse juste faire les annonces de début et ensuite on te pose la question qu'on pose à tous nos invités.
On a du merch, on a du nouveau merch. Puis j'ai changé le fournisseur, donc la qualité du print va être mieux. Quand vous allez le laver, ça va pas partir au premier lavage. Fait que, c'est ça. Fait que vous pouvez aussi donner des dons, 3, 4, 5 000 $ si vous voulez. Ça nous aider à produire le podcast, à payer l'abonnement Zoom qui doit être renouvelé bientôt, puis et tout. Donc, tous les liens vont être disponibles sur Linktree /d'amour et de sexe.
Yes, voilà. So, Onisha, la question qu'on pose à tous nos invités, c'est comment on shoot son shot avec toi? Comment quelqu'un peut faire? Yeah.
Well, nobody can shoot their shot at me now because I'm taken. But,
comment ça marchait? Comment fallait faire?
I always, in the beginning, well, okay, let's just say when I was single, right? I had really high standards. So nobody could really talk to me. Not that they couldn't talk to me, not that I wasn't approachable, but it was just that I knew exactly what I wanted, And for the longest time I was manifesting that. So I knew I wanted, somebody that was in business, somebody tall, I had preferred myself to be with somebody that was black, a black man, praises to our kings. So that was something that I've always seen myself with, was a black guy. And, it for me, how he had really shot his shot at me was, we were in school at the time and I was full-time in nursing and, he kind of gave me the eye and whatever. And I found he was cute too, but it wasn't at that moment, I didn't kind of feel him right yet, So it was really until I was getting to my last semester. And then I was like, okay, I can kind of start talking to somebody because at this point, I'm finishing school, right? And we ended up speaking again. And it was really for him to kind of answer those questions that I always ask everybody, especially when it comes to shooting their shot at me, right? So I always ask, what's your goal in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 1 year? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And if you could not answer those questions, goodbye. And especially if you couldn't answer them with a concrete plan. Like, you know, it's not even just put in the action. It's really just the voice behind it, just the intention, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, yes, somebody can say something, but they don't actually mean it, right? So he really had answered all the questions like impressively. So I was like, you know what? I can take a chance on this because I like the direction where he's going. You know, it attracted me, you know, and it made me feel like, okay, this is where I can kind of like lead to, you know, this is something I want to invest my time in.
Okay. Yeah. Mais c'est clair que quelqu'un qui sait ce qu'il veut, c'est vraiment attractive. Déjà, ça. Comme tu dis, avec la manière qu'il le dit, tu sens l'intention qu'il y a derrière et tu sens qu'il, comme tu dis, qu'il means it.
Yes.
Après, ce qui est quand même bien que tu as su faire, parce que souvent, on est là, oui, je sais ce que je veux, etc. Mais des fois, tu rencontres un gars et puis juste, il est intéressé ou il te donne le bon type d'attention et tous tes critères, tu les jettes à la poubelle et tu fais attention.
It's true.
Mais toi, t'es restée droite. Comment t'as managé pour faire ça? Est-ce que c'est juste comment toi tu es?
Yes. I have always kind of been like this, you know, was really like kind of having high standards, you know, like my friends would be like, oh, Anisha, you should talk to this guy, you should talk to him. And I'm like, no, he's not for me. Like, that's not for me. I know what I want, you know, and I know it's going to come. So like, especially when you're kind of like manifesting what you want, it's going to eventually come to you, you know, if you're really speaking on it and you're consistent about it, right? If you kind of play around with it, then you're going to see that it doesn't actually come to you, right? So you have to kind of be consistent about where and what you want. Yeah.
Be firm on it.
Exactly. You have to be firm. You have to be like, okay, this is what I want. And this, like, nothing is going to stop me from getting it, you know? And I really liked that I was always like that because it helped me attain a lot of goals. It helped me get the man of my dreams. It helped me, you know, get to where I'm going to now because I've been firm with my goals, you know?
Yeah, t'as tes résultats. Et est-ce que tu as déjà shoot ton shot, toi, avec quelqu'un, genre dans ton passé?
I don't think so. I think it was always more so like them coming to me, you know? Yeah. But I kind of feel like with my boyfriend now, I did kind of shoot my shot. Like, I feel like it was, you know, how can I say that? Like,
mutual?
Yeah, exactly. It was a mutual thing. So I wouldn't say like he really shot his shot completely. I feel like we kind of had like a mutual agreement because at the same time too, when it had started, we both were like, you're boring, you know? Like we both had said it. And when he called me boring, I was shocked because I was like, what? Like, I think you're boring, you know? So in a way, it kind of was like a mutual agreement. We decided to be together and it went from there, you know? But it was in the sense of like what I wanted, which was like so funny out of it, you know?
Dope. Ça me fait penser à la scène du film de Paid in Full. Dope.
I swear, I love those type of movies. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, moi aussi. Classic.
I swear.
Ok, so maintenant qu'on sait comment on shoot son shot avec toi, on va passer au courrier du cœur. So, on a un courrier du cœur cette semaine.
Tête en bas.
Ouais, d'une anonyme. Et so, on va lire le conseil, on va lire le courrier, puis tu vas donner ton conseil et qu'est-ce que tu ferais. So, salut Karine et Jude. J'ai commencé à parler à cette fille et le courant passe super bien. Nos conversations ont même évolué au point où on se fait des petits hints, des petites insinuations sexuelles. Le problème, c'est qu'elle est mariée. Mon but, ce serait de la faire tromper son mari avec moi. Avez-vous des trucs, des conseils pour moi? Yeah, tête en bas.
You know what? To be honest with you, though, when it comes to these type of situations, you see, when it's not really my business, I can't give you a full opinion, right? But at the same time, like, I'm not judging, you know?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, too, sometimes it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
You know, you feel this excitement, this secrecy, you know? You're excited to be with this person, not even really just because they're married, but just the excitement of it, of being caught or, you know, maybe not being caught, right? And that's it. Like you feel like, okay, you know, I have the power in this sense to just like take advantage of this moment because this person is married. And the thing is too, is that what happens a lot when this person is married and you're in that situation, it's like, okay, well, you know, I can kind of have my way, you know, anytime I can take advantage of this person. And it really depends. Like, you know, at the end of the day, it's really up to you if you're gonna stick with somebody that's married. I mean, oh, what can I say? You know, like
être avec quelqu'un de marié, c'est vrai, comme tu dis, il y a un aspect liberté parce que tu peux partir, mais en même temps, t'as des bénéfices. Et puis, en vrai, quand tu dates quelqu'un qui est marié ou en couple, t'as que les bons côtés de la personne.
Ouais.
C'est sa femme ou son mari qui a tous les mauvais côtés du quotidien.
Yes.
Mais moi,
because you know, that person is around them every day. They know their flaws. They know what they don't like. They know what they like, right? Mm-hmm. They know all of like that little thing. But when you are the side person, you know, I mean, I don't want to say side chick or whatever, but like, you know, when you're that person that's on the side, you only know half of that person. So you're only seeing the good things at this point, right?
Yeah.
You know, so you're only seeing the good stuff. But you see, that's why when somebody leaves their wife or leaves their husband for somebody that's on the side, somebody that's really good looking, it never even lasts. Wow. Because the thing is too, is that they weren't ready for all that was coming, you know? So when they get into that relationship, they're like, oh my God, like, what did I do? I broke up with my wife because, you know, I wanted this 5 minutes of fame. Like, and now you don't even go back. Like, you know, you don't even have that communication anymore. And that's the thing. It's like some people just really don't want to work on what they have, you know? Instead, they're looking outside, they're looking to other people. And then even as a person, sorry about that. Even as somebody who is in the who's single, but who's coming into that, you know, relationship they're seeing it as, okay, well, I'm just coming for this and that's it, you know? And that's really how it is. And unfortunately, in those situations, it's really about, okay, are you willing to take the risk to come in between this? You know, or are you willing to take the risk in the sense of like leaving it alone? Finding somebody for yourself, right? Because again, that's also a dealing of self-love as well, because, you know, you're kind of searching for it into somebody else. You're searching for it somewhere else. You feel like this person is giving you attention, yet it's not that attention that you actually need. Sometimes it's just more sexual, right? So, you know, it's...
on n'est pas patient.
That's it.
On n'est pas patient. C'est que tu peux te dire, oui, je vais travailler sur moi. Maintenant, je vais donner de l'attention que aux gens qui me méritent et avec qui j'ai créé une connexion. Et puis, tu tiens 3-4 semaines. Allez, tu tiens un mois. Then you go out. Et puis, tu rencontres quelqu'un qui t'appelle, hey, sexy mama. Et puis, t'es okay.
And like, you're like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here for this. You know, that's exactly how it is. Because if you're not patient for what you want, you're going to find what you don't want, you know? And it's not going to be like in your face right away. You know, it might seem like you want this now, but when it comes later on, like I said, you know, when that person really unfolds in your face, you don't know their situation. You don't know them, right?
Mais j'ai une question pour toi, Onisha. Dans le fond, toi, tu laisserais combien de temps à quelqu'un de se dévoiler pour dire que ça ne marche plus?
It really depends on the situation. Because, you know, some people could seem like so good in the beginning. Like it could even last up to a year. You know what I mean? And you don't kind of like realize or see those symptoms at this moment. So like, you know, it could be really a never ending process. But for me personally, I think like 3 months, you know, I think a good 3 months into talking to somebody, I would say 3 to 6 months, actually. 3 to 6 is really where you're going to be able to see like somebody, their attributes, you know, their little like kinks and stuff like that. You're going to kind of like realize that at a point. But when you're in a relationship, of course, it takes longer, right? Because now you're in a relationship with that person.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, slowly and surely you're going to see different things every day because we're always growing. We're always learning new things. We're always, around different people. So you kind of just grab on and attach like little things to yourself like every day, So I'd say about 3 to 6 months.
J'ai une question, tu vois, parce étant donné que toi, ça fait longtemps que tu es avec ton partenaire?
Yes, 6 years.
Ok, yeah, parfait. Alors, ma question, c'est que tu vois, moi, j'ai l'impression que, parce que moi, j'ai pas, bon, à part quand j'étais plus jeune, mais sinon, en tant qu'adulte, j'ai pas d'expérience d'une longue relation comme ça. Et j'ai tout le temps l'impression que, au début, tu rencontres la personne, c'est très, très bien, etc. Mais plus le temps avance, plus le ugliness vient et c'est là que tu apprends les mauvaises choses. Mais c'est quoi les trucs positifs qui viennent avec le temps? Parce que je vois, oui, j'apprends à te connaître, je vois c'est quoi tes défauts, mais c'est quoi les choses positives qui se révèlent avec le temps?
I think, one of the most positive things that comes with time is that you get to learn more about each other. I think that's one of the best things that happen in a relationship, especially when it's long. You kind of, especially when you see the ugly things, when you see the ugliness and you see how much you guys like go through together, right? You kind of start to see like, okay, I could really like, if we can handle this, we can handle anything, Like, I feel like, for myself and my boyfriend, because we just recently experienced a loss and, we had a miscarriage earlier this year. And that was something like very different for us, right? Because, it's our first relationship. We both like a first real relationship, not like one of those flings and whatever, like this is a relationship. Yeah. You're committed to each other, right? And, for us to go through something like this, most people are like, would break up right away, And it's been like 6 months since we lost our son, and you kind of see like the positive through that because you're like, I wouldn't picture myself being in this moment with anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't picture it. Like I couldn't picture myself being in a different relationship after something like this, or I couldn't picture myself being with somebody else with this same situation, And I think that that's one of the beautiful things is that when you start to go through those ugly moments or those tragic moments, you kind of see the beauty of your relationship a lot, that you guys can like stick through together with anything.
Yeah. En fait, au final, c'est la même chose, c'est la même pièce, mais c'est deux faces différentes de la même pièce. Parce que tu apprends plus sur la personne des mauvais côtés, mais tu apprends aussi le bon côté de la personne et de votre couple.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, you're constantly learning about each other through a relationship. Like, again, this is 6 years now, right? Everything is not like it was before. In the beginning, it was like lilies and roses and happiness and, you're having fun all the time. But eventually, sometimes the momentum kind of goes down, And it only goes down, too, because you guys built like a relationship so strong in the beginning, Everything was like on a 10. So sometimes when it's on a 10 right away, you kind of have to go to like a good 6 just for a bit, take time off of each other, take, time away from each other so that you can have space,
Et 6, même pas bad.
That's it.
Yeah. C'est même pas bad, là.
Exactly.
Il y a des gens qui commencent avec un 6.
And then they eventually get to like a 10, right? So
des fois non. Des fois non.
It's true. Sometimes they go to a 1, so you never know.
-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a oh my God. It's literally that. Oh my gosh.
Mais alors, pour revenir sur le truc, parce que notre anonyme, il nous demande des conseils.
Moi, j'ai un conseil
pour faire que la fille ne trompe avec son mari. Ok, on t'écoute.
Genre, bon, beaucoup de podcasts, les femmes expriment qu'elles veulent quelqu'un qui a de l'initiative et qui prend les devants. Donc, moi, là, comme ce serait genre vraiment le Hail Mary, là. Ce serait genre, book-toi une chambre d'hôtel puis dis-lui telle heure, telle date, that's it, puis genre, tu vois si elle vient ou pas.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that's okay. That's okay too, right? You know, like there's no problem with that. I mean, you know, especially if you're in that mood, you know, sometimes it's just that, like, sometimes that's all you're thinking about. And if you don't get it, like, at that moment, you're like, well, you're going to be, you know, stuck in that sense, right? And you're always going to keep searching for that. So it's kind of just good to let off that steam sometimes, you know, and just allow yourself to have that. Because a lot of people think that, you know, okay, well, you shouldn't be having sex with this person and this person and that person. Okay, yes, you shouldn't, you know, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's your life. And it's like, okay, if you feel that you are ready, and especially if you're okay with that, if you're okay with it, you know, you allow yourself to. It's different than being told to do it, you know, or having somebody do, like, say, like, okay, well, you need to come here and here, and maybe you're not interested in that. It's different when you are ready and you're allowing yourself to do it, because that's what makes things okay for you, you know? And
moi, je pense que ça peut marcher. Mais en effet, ça peut marcher si elle est sur le même vibe. Mais comme notre anonyme, il dit qu'ils font déjà, ils parlent un peu de sexe déjà tous les deux. Je me dis, bon, moi, je suis pas mariée, mais as a married woman, je comprends pas comment tu peux... Peut-être avec des collègues de travail, vous faites une petite blague de manière générale, mais pas un truc toi et moi, on parle.
Mettons en texte, là, puis genre, c'est sexy dans les textes, là.
C'est déjà cheating pour moi. Elle est déjà en train de tromper pour moi.
Fait que tant qu'à faire, might as well cheat and fool.
It's different when you're married. It's like, okay, well, you really shouldn't be texting this person. You know what I mean? Not that you shouldn't. I mean, okay, it's fun. It's fine to have fun. Or, you know, if it's like a joke thing, but at the same time too, like, you kind of have to put yourself in your partner's position and be like, okay, how would I feel reading this text message? You know, find ways to do this with your wife or your husband. You know what I mean? Because that's what's going to bring the spark even closer. He or she is not going to have to look out for it. If you're the one that's always like spontaneous, you know, it's different when you're not finding that spark in your sex life or in your relationship, and you kind of have to look for it outside. Like, you can't blame your partner for looking for it if you're not actually taking the initiative to do so, you know?
On dit souvent qu'il faut au moins être willing to try. Après, on a tous des choses qu'on sait déjà qu'on veut pas faire. Mais il y a des choses, tu peux au moins essayer, genre.
Mais surtout que c'est pas toi qui es en couple. C'est pas toi qui es en couple, c'est l'autre personne. Fait que si l'autre personne cheat, c'est son dos, là.
C'est sa responsabilité. C'est sa responsabilité, mais c'est aussi... Après, ça dépend de c'est quoi les valeurs auxquelles notre anonyme, c'est quoi ses valeurs, tu vois. Les gens pour qui même se mettre dans un truc avec quelqu'un qui est marié ou même en couple, c'est déjà pas une bonne chose, tu vois. Mais ça dépend de chacun. Il y a des gens qui s'en foutent du mariage. Il y a des gens qui respectent pas ça, ou même couple, etc. Tu
vois. It's true.
Il y a des gens dans des mariages qui s'en foutent du mariage.
It's exactly that. And sometimes you wonder, like, how did you guys get married? Why are you married? Like, we showed up at your wedding, you know, we were all invited. Like,
on a besoin de remboursement. Yo, mes parents disent tout le temps ça, genre, si t'es divorcé dans 5 ans, genre, tu nous dois l'argent.
Give me back my money.
Qu'on a mis dans
run it back.
Yo, des fois, maintenant, les mariages, c'est rendu cher, là. C'est quasiment rendu 200$.
Yes!
Ben oui, ma cousine, c'est ma cousine qui m'avait invité, $200.
Oh my God. I swear, you know, it's funny because throughout my life, I've never like remembered ever paying for a wedding, you know, like, or hearing that we would pay for a wedding. Like, let's say, for example, your food plate or anything like that. It really wasn't until I met my boyfriend. Like, my boyfriend is Haitian, you know? And like, my family, we're from Jamaica, we're from Trinidad. It's a whole Caribbean island there. So, you know, like, most of our family, we were never paying for the wedding, you know? So, coming into his family and seeing we're paying for a wedding, I was like, extortion? Like, what is this? Like, I've never had to pay for a wedding, like, you know?
Mais je pense que c'est vraiment un truc, c'est vraiment un truc haïtien, parce que je pense que c'est la seule communauté que je...
No, actually, I think so too.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't blame myself because, hey, you're paying for food. I mean, people don't show up sometimes. Like, you might order more food. So, it makes sense. But it was just never something that I've heard before. So,
Tu sais que c'est quand j'ai vu que ça faisait du sens, payer pour un mariage, c'est quand, genre, j'ai commencé à organiser des événements.
Yes.
Ça coûte actually cher, puis je peux pas faire rentrer les gens gratuitement, là. And I was so strict on guest lists, puis mes amis étaient fâchés, puis je suis comme, est-ce que tu sais combien ça coûte, même? Puis genre, là, j'imagine, comme, basically, un mariage, c'est un event.
Exactly.
Genre, les gens viennent s'amuser, t'engages plein de gens, même un DJ. Fait que genre, tu veux que les gens aient du fun.
Yeah.
Tu es un organisateur d'événements et tu fais pas ça pour la charité. That's it.
Non, c'est clair. C'est vrai que ça revient super cher. Et en plus, souvent au mariage, les gens après, sortis du mariage avec les restes de nourriture, ils sont juste en train de parler caca sur le mariage.
Yo!
Ouais, le DJ était whack. Oh, les fleurs, c'était des fausses fleurs. Oh, les baguettes, le poulet, il était pas si bon ça.
Yo, si ma mère avait un channel YouTube, ce serait genre des reviews de mariage.
Yo, you should. Franchement, peut-être ça peut marcher. Hein.
Ce serait un gros thing. Je suis dans un mariage récemment et tout.
You better get it started because.
On sait jamais.
Produire ma mom, bro.
Yo, s'il y a des vidéos de gens qui mangent leur nourriture, qui fonctionnent vraiment, ou des gens qui chuchotent, ça fonctionne. Des reviews de mariage, ça peut marcher. Tout peut marcher.
Attends, laisse-moi prendre ça en note for real, bro.
Yo.
Oh my God. No, that's 100%. Because even if you see the views from just people who review food all day long, my God, I swear I've seen like more than 1 million subscribers. I'm like, I should start like reviewing some food.
Moi-même, je regarde ça. Je regarde des vidéos de gens. Ça peut m'arriver de regarder des vidéos de gens qui mangent et tout. Mais après, t'aimes bien la personnalité de la personne.
Non, mais tu sais, surtout si t'es pour payer genre 150$, mettons, pour aller dans un mariage. Obviously, après, t'as des choses à dire, là, parce que...
Oh, you earned t'as earned le droit de parler.
Chris, un restaurant, c'est pas ce 200$. 200$, c'est high-end as fuck, là. Puis là, après, tu payes 150$, puis genre, t'as un bout de poisson tout sèche avec genre une scoop de riz, genre, comme arrête.
It's true. But if you go to like those high-end restaurants too, right? Mm-hmm. If you're to go like Rib and Reef or any of those like really, really nice places, you see something like small like this for like $200 and you're like, now you kind of understand like where that like food style comes from, right? But it's not enough at a wedding, unfortunately, you know?
Moi, je suis allé dans un mariage italien pour ma cousine, c'est mariée avec un Italien, puis genre, eux autres, ils avaient de la bouffe, c'est des
les Italiens.
Bouffe, là. Tabarouette.
Oh my gosh.
Great wedding. Ok, mais donc, pour résumer, notre anonyme, comment la faire tromper son mari? Moi, je trouve que le conseil que Jude t'a donné est bon. Tu peux try juste all in et puis voir si tu dis yo, j'ai réservé quelque chose, etc., etc. Parce que moi, bon, au-delà du fait qu'il soit marié et tout, je sais que moi, juste un gars que je suis intéressée, que j'ai déjà un petit peu parlé, et qu'on est un peu dans ce vibe-là, il me dit, yo, j'ai réservé ça. Bon, même si c'est pas un hôtel, même si c'est un restaurant ou un hôtel, il me dit, j'ai réservé ça, quelqu'un, prépare-toi, je viens te chercher à telle heure. Je vais aimer ça. Je vais même trouver ça thoughtful, tu vois, même si je sais que he's just trying to fuck, tu vois, mais je vais quand même être, il a
put some effort, you know? Some effort.
Mais, moi, le truc, comment faire pour, des trucs pour elle. Moi, j'aurais dit, en tout cas, fais attention de ne pas t'attacher parce que la femme est mariée.
Ah, c'est ça.
Fais attention à ce qu'elle s'attache pas à toi. Parce que des fois, t'es juste son air frais qu'elle a hors de son mariage.
Ouais.
Et fais attention à ce que son mari débarque pas à ton travail ou des trucs comme ça. Yo, moi, ça m'était arrivé. Yo, j'avais... ok, je vais pas dire où je travaillais, mais je travaillais à un endroit et j'avais 2 collègues mais j'avais un collègue un gars de Trinidad d'ailleurs. Lui, il flirtait avec tout le monde. Mais il y a une des filles, ils ont commencé à se voir, etc. Sauf que le gars était marié avec des enfants. Et il vivait avec sa femme, obviously. Et elle a fini par l'apprendre. Et la fille a débarqué au job, elle a débarqué, il y a eu un huge mess et tout avec l'autre collègue. Et il a fini par quitter sa femme et tout, et le regretter, parce que la fille pour qui il a quitté, au bout d'un moment, elle n'était plus intéressée. Ouais.
You see? You see what I was talking about at the beginning?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's the thing. It's like, okay, is it worth it? You know? Is it worth it? Because
et après, c'est I want my family back. Je veux réunir ma famille. Fallait penser à ça.
How come you didn't think about your family in that moment?
Fallait prendre un
That's
break.
what you need to do. You know? But sometimes you're blinded by the bum. Sorry.
Yeah, vraiment.
You know?
Ok, est-ce que vous voulez ajouter quelque chose sur le courrier du cœur?
Do you, my nigga?
Ok, well, je te laisse faire les annonces de sport.
Vous pouvez envoyer des croustillants courriers du cœur comme celui-ci au d'amour et de sexe podcast @gmail.com, sur Instagram d'amour et de sexe, sur Twitter DAEDS podcast et dans nos Instagram respectifs Wesh Karen et Jus d'expérience.
Yes. Donc, on va parler d'un petit peu de faits d'actualité. Donc, je ne sais pas si vous avez vu cette photo, je vais la mettre à l'écran. Cette fille qui a posté son œil. Donc, cette fille, c'est une danseuse. Elle s'appelle Jenny BSG. Et elle a posté elle a fait ce post il y a 2 jours. Je ne sais pas si vous allez voir.
Yes, I've seen this. I just seen it like yesterday.
Voilà. Donc, cette fille-là, c'est une danseuse belge. Et une danseuse de Belgique, mais elle est très connue. Elle a déjà participé au Ellen Show, etc. Donc,
ok, wow.
Ouais, connue mondialement. Et son fiancé est un comédien, un humoriste. Mais moi, personnellement, je ne l'ai jamais vu, jamais entendu. Les seules fois que j'ai vu le gars, c'est quand il était en vidéo avec la fille. Parce qu'il faisait aussi des petites vidéos sur YouTube, etc.
Ok, struggling comedian.
Exactement.
Exactly.
Mais c'est ça.
They'll make no money.
Il fait les open shows. Il fait les open shows.
Non,
les open mic.
Et tout le monde le regarde mal.
Puis il doit payer soit $20 à chaque fois qu'il va.
Oh dear God. Oh,
ce soir, c'est mon breakout.
Et donc, la fille, Jenny, elle a posté cette photo de son œil qui était extrêmement gonflé, avec une caption qui expliquait que oui, elle a été battue par son fiancé et que c'est pas la première fois en 5 ans de relation, etc. Et elle dit qu'il faut quitter, etc., etc. Je tiens juste à préciser qu'il y a quelques mois en arrière, elle avait déjà dit quelque chose comme ça. Et plein de gens avaient pris sa défense sur les réseaux. Et puis après, elle avait fait une vidéo avec son copain qui disait « Oh, c'était un prank, c'était pas vrai. » Mais tu vois que dans le body language qu'elle a à côté de son gars, à un moment, il dit « Oh, parce que je suis congolais, on croit que je bats ma femme ou que machin. » Et puis elle est là derrière, genre. Mais tu vois que dans son corps, elle est pas... C'est un peu bizarre. Et donc, le gars a réagi aussi. Il devait faire un live Instagram hier pour s'expliquer, mais hier, Insta, WhatsApp, tout bugué. Il n'a pas fait il n'a pas fait son live. Mais le gars avait quand même fait un post qui expliquait que je ne cautionne pas la violence faite aux femmes. J'ai jamais été violent, mais comme toute chose, en gros, ça mérite d'explication, donc je vais m'expliquer sur ça quand il pourra. Bref, il va s'expliquer sur son live Instagram qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, etc. Et après, il a posté une photo d'un rapport de police et dedans, ça est dit comme si, lui, il dit que c'est le truc pour tenir la caméra qui est tombé sur son œil.
Un trépied?
Ouais, le stabilisateur, là. Il dit que c'est ça qui a fait ça à l'œil de la fille.
Non.
Mais comment il est gonflé? Man, c'est que tu as tenu le stabilisateur quand tu l'as tapé dans l'œil.
Exactement. That is a punch. That is a punch in the face.
Yeah.
And that wasn't just like one time, you know?
Exactly.
That wasn't once.
Yeah.
Like the thing about this type of thing, especially what you were saying before about like how her body language was in the video. It was a video, right?
Yeah.
And you can just see how her body language is. It's tense, you know? She doesn't feel like she could be open, you know? Like, it's so crazy because I think that there was like this video that was going around before where, you know, women would signal, like, you know, if they You know, if they were being like in an abusive home and they had like a little sign, I don't remember what it is now, but
ouais, moi non plus, mais je vois c'est quoi.
Yeah, and you just see like, okay, there's all these things here, and yet there's still things happening like this, you know?
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. And
ça me fait penser à la vidéo de Derrick Jackson.
J'allais dire la même chose.
Avec sa femme qui était à côté. Elle était plus là. Elle était là, mais c'est comme si elle n'était pas là.
Yeah, because they're not even focused, right?
No, yeah.
Not focused.
Yeah.
There was just, even speaking about that just now, there was a woman who was also missing, a 19-year-old missing. And she had said no to a guy, like a guy that works in her apartment complex.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about that? And she ended up being found dead now.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. And it's just like, okay, well, how come you can't take no for an answer?
Crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
Now you feel that it's okay and it's safe to put your hands on a woman. But it's not even just that. I mean, vice versa, you don't want to put your hand on your partner.
Yeah.
But if you know that it's at that point where you're going to have to hit this person, leave. Like, that's it. What does it do for you? You know?
Genre, mais oui, je suis tout à fait d'accord, mais aussi, genre, des fois, t'entends ces hommes-là dire, j'ai essayé de partir, la fille m'a commencé à me traiter de tous les noms, comme quoi je n'étais pas un vrai homme parce que je suis pas capable de face des situations. Fait que là, non seulement, genre, tu te sens obligé de rester, fait que là, tu dis, tu sais, je vais pas excuser, genre, les hommes qui frappent leurs copines, là, mais genre, t'es obligé de rester dans une situation où t'es même pas confortable, t'essaies de, genre, gérer la situation comme tu peux, puis genre, le coup part.
But if that's what you're worried about, let's just say you're worried about that, then don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just really that simple. Like, you're worried about, I'm going to look like this to this person. You're going to look like that because that's what you're doing. You know, that's plain and simple. You're beating up people and you say you don't want people to talk about you. Don't do it then. It's just that simple. Like, you know, I don't know. Like,
pour parler du gars de le copain, le fiancé de Jenny, la danseuse, lui, dans sa réaction, moi, je trouve qu'il était vraiment plus concerné par ce que les gens pourraient dire que par lui. Il a posté le même texte sur Twitter en disant oui, je m'expliquerai, je suis contre la violence faite aux femmes, mais il a posté ça avec une photo de lui, avec un palmier derrière, position sur le côté, genre, c'est pas une photo que tu postes sur IG. Il a pris ça pour accompagner une légende. On t'accuse de frapper quelqu'un, un œil sorti comme ça, et toi, tu mets une photo de toi, looking good, il y a le soleil, le machin.
Like, you don't need the sun on you at this point right now, okay?
Tu veux des likes? Tu cherches des likes? Je comprends pas. Je comprends pas.
And the thing too about like what you said about him going on live, you know, is just like, okay, why is it that, okay, now you see you're getting caught because now you want people to see your face, right? Mm-hmm. You know? And it's funny because it's like, okay, no, like you could have wrote something, you know what I mean? You could have wrote something, a little statement at least, just to keep people in their seats, you know?
Lui, il a fait de suspense. Oui, je m'expliquerai ce soir ou demain, je sais plus ce qu'on a dit, sur mon Insta, le temps que les gens aient envie vraiment de venir voir.
Créer du hype.
Créer du hype, c'est vraiment ça. Quelqu'un t'accuse d'avoir fait presque sortir son œil et toi, tu prends 50 ans. Si c'est faux, t'as pas besoin de 24 heures pour nier.
C'est ça. Bon, si c'est faux, t'as juste appelé ton avocat.
C'est ça.
Puis ferme ta gueule, bro.
Exactly.
Mais il est bête parce qu'il a sorti la photo du rapport de police où il dit oui, c'est le stabilisateur de la caméra. Ah. Mais...
Non.
Mais genre, prouve mieux. Like, please.
Exactly. Lie better, please.
C'est ça, je sais pas si tu regardes les téléréalités, Onisha, mais il y avait, comment ça s'appelle Celebrity Bootcamp, là. Ouais. Avec Kylie qui sortait avec bateau, puis elle avait jeté une pomme. Elle lui avait jeté une pomme dans sa tête. Même ça, j'aurais plus cru. Oui, t'as jeté une pomme énervée que un... Bon, it's still wrong, mais... que le stabilisateur de la caméra qui a fait sortir.
That's it. Because the thing is too is you're thinking about like how did it get there, like you know. How did it fall?
Elle était dans un angle fucked up, puis genre la caméra est juste tombée sur son nez.
Right.
comme les vidéos, comme les commercials là, comme les infomercials.
Exactly.
C'est juste pas possible. Mais en pensant à ça, genre j'ai soulevé une question, tu vois, parce que bon, les violences dans le couple, que ce soit homme, femme, c'est pas nouveau.
Mm-hmm.
Mais souvent dans nos communautés, en fait, je vais dire dans nos communautés, mais white people aussi ont ça quand ils sont riches, etc. Ou même les pauvres, sinon tout le monde.
Non, tout le monde.
À ce truc-là de faut endurer. Oh, tu sais, les hommes, ils sont comme ça. Oh,
non,
la famille. Mais
oui,
tu
parce
sais,
que j'avais vu un tweet là qui disait qu'il avait posté une photo des deux, puis il a dit oui, je suis vraiment fier que ce couple soit un exemple pour la jeunesse congolaise parce que genre ils restent ensemble malgré les coups durs.
Yeah.
Very.
J'ai vu un post comme ça qui disait aussi exactement comme ça, mais juste il avait glissé, je pense que c'est le même post que toi, mais t'as oublié une phrase où il disait à la fille sois docile. Non, sois docile face à ton truc, à ton mari, sois soumis, sois.
Ça c'est biblique ça.
Non,
mais non, yeah. Les gens utilisent ça. Mais
non, mais c'est ça, les gens utilisent ça comme c'est still biblical, mais genre les gens l'utilisent.
Yeah. Parce que les gens utilisent la Bible aussi pour dire vous voyez, les Noirs doivent être soumis.
I don't think that people have seen have noticed or are aware of how much we've grown as a society. You know, where there's like so many things that's not allowed at this point. You know, like, or not even just that it's not allowed, or like, let's say, for example, women in the kitchen. Like a lot of women are not cooking now because they're like, okay, well, my man could cook too, type of thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, and which is true. Like sometimes it's, I feel like, you know, some people are just so traditional and not open to being into that new point where it's like, no, okay, he's not supposed to be putting his hands on me. I don't care if he's a man. I don't care if that's what, you know, if he gets mad, that's what he's supposed to do. No, that's not what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to respect me at all times, right? You know?
Et puis même, les gens choisissent
ben, c'est ça.
Sur quoi ils veulent être traditionnels.
Exactement.
Yeah.
Parce que si tu veux être traditionnel, go all the way, tu sais quoi, arrête ta voiture, va faire comme les Amish, va vivre dans une réserve et puis vivez de...
Bon, peut-être pas obligé d'aller jusque-là, mais genre, comme si tu es traditionnel... Genre, si tu veux être traditionnel, genre, wait until you're married to fuck. Genre, comme, va à l'église. Comme, tu sais, genre, apprends à cuisiner. Tu sais, tu peux pas, genre, être traditionnel seulement sur le genre, I want my man to pay everything, mais genre, tu sais même pas, genre, cuire un œuf.
That's it.
Oui, ou même, je veux que ma femme soit soumise et machin, c'est pas...
Non, ben,
c'est pas...
Mais l'affaire de la cuisine, là, par contre, là, of course, men should know how to cook, mais genre, tu peux pas ne pas savoir cuisiner, par contre.
But like, you know,
les gars qui savent pas cuisiner.
Non, mais je parle des femmes aussi, là, comme c'est un basic life skill. Genre, tu sais même pas cuire un œuf.
Regardless as a man, as a woman, you should know how to cook. Because if you live by yourself...
de pain dans le toaster, genre, arrête,
mais il faut dire qu'il y a des gens, culturellement, c'est comme ça. Par exemple, tu vois, moi, j'ai déjà... je connais des gens, tu vois, qui sont beaucoup sortis avec des gens du Maghreb, des Maghrébines, tu vois, donc Afrique du Nord. Et les filles sont vraiment... Bon, je généralise, hein, c'est bien sûr, c'est pas toutes, hein, mais souvent, les filles sont élevées pour... Genre, ton homme, il est à la maison, il fait rien, là. Moi, j'avais un ami, il m'a déjà dit que, par exemple, il dormait avec sa copine, il devait se lever le matin pour travailler. Disons qu'il il se lève à 4h du matin pour travailler, et elle dort, elle va se lever pour lui faire son petit déjeuner. Alors qu'elle, elle travaillait pas, là, elle pouvait rester à la maison dormir. Genre, c'est vraiment faire tout.
Yes.
Donc, il y a des gens, c'est culturellement, donc les gars, souvent, les gars, et même j'ai des amis arabes maghrébins qui m'ont déjà dit, moi, quand je rentrais dans la cuisine, ma mère, elle me chassait, là. Mais bon, j'avoue que tu dois quand même savoir faire des pâtes. Like, come on.
Non, mais c'est ça. Bouillir de l'eau.
Bouillir de l'eau, tu sais.
Like, you should know the basics. You should really just, because you have to think in the sense, like, okay, if I move out on my own, like, who's going to take care of me type of thing? If you're not moving with your man, you're not moving with your woman. Like, do I know how to clean? Do I know how to cook? Like, you know, do I know those little steps to just being able to like live on my own? You know, like that's why some people go back home. You know, some people go back home because they're like, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to clean. Like, I'm gonna make my mom do it for me.
Leur maman va faire les plats. Genre, la maman part en vacances, elle va préparer des plats d'avance. Quand t'as juste à mettre au micro-ondes.
Exactly. Exactly that.
Puis c'est pas comme si on te demandait d'être un cordon bleu, là.
Yeah, mais juste...
Genre, est-ce que tu sais faire des craft dinner, genre?
Just like a little bit.
mais donc oui, qu'est-ce que vous pensez de ça, de cette culture-là de dire aux femmes, oui, endure, etc. Bah ouais, vous disiez que c'était hypocrite, quoi, c'est ça?
Non, c'est hypocrite.
Yeah.
C'est totalement hypocrite.
Okay.
Mais ça me fait soulever une question, dans le fond. Tu sais, oui, ça, c'est des cas extrêmes qu'il faudrait absolument, genre, quitter son partenaire, mais genre, tu sais, j'ai cette réflexion-là, présentement, pas parce que dans mon couple, ça va pas bien, mais c'est juste que, genre, c'est quoi des bonnes raisons de, comme, abandonner le couple que t'as, genre?
Bah, tu m'as frappé.
Non, mais à part des cas extrêmes.
Ah, ok. C'est quoi les bonnes raisons?
Parce que, tu sais, des fois, genre, les gens vont te laisser parce que, genre, t'aimes pas Game of Thrones ou genre, tu sais, des petites affaires que, genre, in the long run, doesn't matter really much. Mais genre, moi, c'est l'impression que j'ai là, c'est que les gens se laissent vraiment à n'importe quoi.
Tu dirais quoi, Onisha?
No, that's a really good question because the thing is it depends on what extent, right? To what happened in order for you to like really leave this relationship, right? And for me personally, I think it really has to do a lot with not being able to trust that person. You know, I would say that is one of the reasons why most breakups happen. I mean, yes, you know, maybe if this person cheated or this person, you know, stole money or whatever, I don't know. But I mean, in the end of the day, now you see it comes back to trust.
Yes.
You know, it always comes back to that. And I feel like that's why most relationships, I think that is what the worst thing can happen to a relationship is not being able to trust your partner, you know. Because if you can't trust your partner in this situation, you're gonna sit there and kind of be like, okay, well, is he doing this or is she doing that? You know, and that alone is already so stressful in itself, you know, because you're questioning yourself, you're questioning your partner, you know, and even if you're not directly questioning your partner, but you're questioning what they're doing and their actions, and you might get like, how can I say this? Like shooken up a little bit, you know? And it takes time to build back that trust as well, you know, if it even comes back at all, you know? I think that's one of the main reasons why, one of the main reasons that can break up a relationship the worst way, excuse me, because you don't just trust that person anymore, you know?
Yeah, don't trust. J'ajouterais, des fois, tu te sens plus
toi-même. Parce que, parce que justement, le trust, c'est des fois, tu perds même confiance en toi-même. Genre.
Exactly. Yeah. You question yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you question what you're doing. You're like, okay, am I good enough for this relationship? Am I good enough for a relationship? You know, because you lose such confidence, not even just in them, but you completely, because it goes, you know, beyond your standards. Like maybe you were somebody who didn't allow stuff like that to happen. And now you get into a relationship with this person and they do something, you know, really bad and you allowed it to happen, you know, now you kind of like doubt yourself. You're like, okay, am I the right person right now? Like, you know, am I doing the right thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Et même, tu sais quoi, tu dis tout ça, mais ça me fait penser aussi que j'ai l'impression qu'il n'y a pas assez de couples qui se laissent. J'ai l'impression qu'il y a beaucoup de couples qui n'ont plus de confiance.
Yes.
Mais they stay together.
Yes.
C'est vrai que...
Ouais. Tu trouves qu'il n'y a pas assez de couples qui se laissent, d'où?
En tout cas,
il y a trop de couples qui restent ensemble quand ils devraient se laisser.
Yes.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Yes. Yeah. And you see, it gets worse.
Parce que les problèmes de trust, c'est très commun. Hein, les gens qui suivent, qui track leurs copains ou leurs copines.
Yes.
Yo. C'est fucked up.
But you see, it's at that point where they lost that trust in the beginning, right? Like this person has to earn their trust now. again. Yeah. But you see, like, the thing is too about that, like, speaking about that and losing trust and confinement in somebody is like, okay, can you really blame this person for wanting to do that after what you did? You know? Like, I understand that it's annoying, but you did something to make that person not trust you.
Yeah.
So how could you really be upset about what they're doing? You know? I mean, yes, again, like, you know, it's your privacy, it's your life. You want to feel independent. You want to feel like, you know, you're this grown person and stuff like that. But at the same time, too, it's like, okay, you did something that this person would never have expected you to do, you know? So it's like, okay, you have to think about it, you know? You have to think about it. You have to kind of take ownership to what happened and kind of don't deal with the consequences too much. But I mean, like, deal with it in a sense that makes sense for them until they can trust you and put confidence in you again, unfortunately, you know? Because it doesn't happen just like that, you know?
Bah, on va revenir vite fait sur l'actualité. Donc, on parlait de Jenny, mais tout à l'heure sur Twitter, j'ai vu une vidéo, un extrait d'une vidéo, un interview. Je ne sais pas si tu regardes OD.
Non.
Occupation
Double. Non? OK. Bah,
I watch it, but I don't understand it completely. You know, sometimes it's too fast, sometimes it's too much Quebecois. Like, but I've watched it. I've watched the first season, I think it was, you know.
Okay.
So I have to
au moins tu vois un petit peu c'est quoi. Et dedans, il y a un des participants qui s'est fait il s'est fait virer par la production parce que
il est parti lui-même.
OK, bah raconte alors parce que c'est
OK, en fait, c'est que quand il est apparu dans la télé des gens là, qu'on a vu qu'il était un candidat, il y a comme un gars qui a écrit qui est allé en date avec ma sœur et ça s'est pas bien passé. Puis il y a eu un flood de commentaires de femmes qui disaient qu'il était genre agressif, qui était
the white guy, right?
Yeah. Qui était agressif, qui était harcelant et tout.
Yes.
Puis genre dans le fond, lui quand il est rentré dans l'aventure, c'est pas dans la vidéo, il explique, dans le 1 heure de l'entrevue, 1h30, il explique que genre même jour 2, il était pas bien parce que genre c'était pas la même formule que d'habitude. C'était genre, il fallait qu'il se batte pour l'attention des filles, puis genre c'est pas quelque chose qu'il aime faire. En plus, il est anxieux. En plus, il y a des problèmes d'alcool, puis genre, c'est genre un melting pot de choses qui l'ont pas rendu bien. Fait que lui, il voulait partir jour 2, mais c'est la production qui l'a comme gardé jusqu'à ce qu'il se fasse éliminer, là, jusqu'à ce que ce soit la dernière journée possible. Là, parce qu'il y a comme un contrat, puis comme tu peux pas comme trop partir. Comme faut que tu fasses actually un bout de l'aventure avant de partir et tout. Parce qu'il y avait même un autre candidat qui voulait partir, mais qui pouvait pas. Fait que pendant l'entrevue, il disait que genre justement, il y a des problèmes d'anxiété, mais genre c'était genre pas de l'anxiété comme toi et moi on vit, là. C'était comme extrême. C'était comme maintenant il prend des médicaments, il voit un psychologue et tout là. Puis genre comme à la OD, ça l'a comme actually empiré ça, pas vraiment empiré là, mais comme ça l'a comme montré les pires côtés de ses problèmes mentaux là, de sa santé mentale.
Est-ce que tu peux parler du petit extrait qui tourne un peu sur Twitter?
OK, oui. Le petit extrait qui est sorti, c'est l'intervieweur qui dit, tu sais, moi, j'ai des gens dans mon entourage qui ont été accusés ou qui ont été coupables, whatever, de violence conjugale. Puis, dans les chicanes de couple, des fois, on est tué.
J'ai l'audio, là.
Okay, vas-y, mets-le.
OK, je mets l'audio, c'est 27 secondes, OK?
Là, je vais mettre le monde en contexte. C'était une chicane de couple.
C'est ça le truc. Okay. Elle est où la ligne entre... Je dirais pas qui, mais dans mon entourage, je connais des gens qui ont... Je dirais pas ça, qui ont déjà été violents avec leur conjoint.
Ah, man.
Mais comme, le gars s'est excusé. Ces gens-là, des humains, ça se peut des fois, ils claquent dans.
Donc, le gars, il dit, je connais des gens qui, bon, je vais pas dire qui, mais je connais des gens en couple qui ont déjà eu des problèmes pour violence conjugale, et puis, on est humain, ça arrive, une claque, des fois, ça peut partir. En gros, ça part vite.
And this was the guy that they're talking about.
No, that's the interviewer.
Okay, that's the interviewer. Oh.
Mais c'est ça que j'expliquais à Karen avant de rentrer là, dans l'enregistrement. Ouais, c'est ça. Moi, bon, tout le temps, on va dire que je défends les gens qu'il ne faut pas défendre, là, mais genre, moi, je pense vraiment que l'intervieweur n'a pas mis de virgule ou de point à la bonne place.
Yes.
Donc, parce qu'il a dit, genre, en tant qu'humain, ça se peut que des fois un coup parte. Peut-être que lui, dans sa tête, il a comme fait une coupure, puis comme, non, pas nécessairement dans un couple, où
Right.
c'est genre juste des fois, genre, t'es fâché, puis t'as le goût de frapper quelque chose.
Yeah.
Comme des fois, le coup part, genre, mettons, genre, j'expliquais à Karen, justement, tu sais, des fois, quand t'es fâché, ça te tente de frapper un oreiller, là. Ou genre, tu sais, des fois, tu cries dans ton oreiller, tu cries dans ton auto parce que, genre, je sais pas, t'as perdu ta job, ou genre, je sais pas, ta blonde t'a laissé. Comme quelque chose. Tu sais, t'as besoin d'exprimer, genre, une certaine violence, pas nécessairement, genre, sur quelqu'un, mais genre, t'as le goût de sortir le méchant de toi, genre. En tout cas.
Pour moi, l'intervieweur, il aurait dû fermer sa bouche et laisser Alex parler.
Yeah.
Parce que la sauce, les problèmes étaient pour Alexandre. Toi, le black guy, là, tu te dépêches, tu cours pour dire « Ah, on est humain, c'est pas grave. » Yo, maintenant, toi-même, t'es dans la sauce et tu vas peut-être même être pire que Alex.
Than him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
T'aurais dû fermer ta bouche.
You just put yourself in the worst position. It's like, okay, we were already looking at him, you know? We were looking
Maintenant,
at him
c'est
like,
toi
okay,
qu'on regarde bizarrement.
Ouais, c'est ça. Ouais.
you know? Like, we're looking at you because we're looking at Alex and being like, sir, you know? You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
But now you come and you talk and you put your 2 cents, and now we're like, well, you too. Like, hello. You know?
No,
now you're just like, you're like spontaneously saying that you do it as well. Or that you're doing it even more than him, you know? Like, it's...
Parce que, on est humain, ça arrive.
Yeah.
Mais quand on parlait avant d'enregistrer, Jude a soulevé quelque chose qui était OK, parce qu'il dit, on parle partout de santé mentale. On dit, oui, il faut prendre soin de soi, mental health, etc., etc. Et Jude, je précise, c'est Jude qui dit ça, c'est pas moi. Il disait, mais en gros, what about la santé mentale des abuseurs?
Yes.
Parce que le gars, il dit, il avait besoin d'aide, il était alcoolique, il avait de l'anxiété, il avait tout un tas de problèmes. Et c'est vrai que souvent, on ne pense pas à regarder ce côté-là.
Yes.
Yeah. OK, bon, tout d'abord, je cautionne tout à fait ce que j'ai dit. OK? Puis, dans le fond, ma réflexion, c'était genre, tu sais, admettons, il y a un meurtre, on va prendre la santé mentale de la personne qui est accusée en compte pour porter un jugement qui est adéquat. Quelqu'un qui est violent a peut-être des problèmes de santé. Comme j'ai dit, je ne sais pas de défendre qui que ce soit, mais en même temps, genre, les gens ont besoin d'aide, là. Genre, ma copine, elle parle beaucoup de justice réparative, OK? Et genre, un autre type de justice, whatever. Bon, un jour, si elle veut venir, elle en parlera. Mais bref, elle connaît plus ce sujet que moi, mais comme, tu sais, c'est genre juste, oui, la personne a fait quelque chose, puis elle mérite totalement de payer pour ça, mais faut pas juste la punir. Faut aussi l'aider. Faut aussi trouver des moyens d'amener cette personne-là à réaliser, à s'améliorer, 2, puis genre avoir une vie, tu sais, comme juste avoir les outils pour pouvoir continuer une vie où elle va pas devoir exprimer sa violence en criant, pas harceler une fille qui dit non avec 15 000 textes. Tu comprends? Ça, c'est un processus, mais que genre, ça prend du temps. Puis est-ce que dans la société aujourd'hui, on laisse le temps aux gens de se rendre là, même?
Because the thing is, too, is like, going back to what you just said, is that, again, yes, we don't look at the side of this person, you know, this person being violent, or we just see them as being violent and that's it. We're like, okay, you did that, too bad, you know? Yeah. But in the end of the day, it's like, okay, if you want to really stop this from happening, if you want this to stop being repeated, you kind of need to bring it up and show them why it's wrong, you know, why it's wrong to do this. Kind of, and you see, that's why these therapists and these psychologists and everybody, they go back, you know? They're like, okay, well, where did you grow up? Who was in your house? You know, like this type of stuff. They go through all of that history of that person because they're like, okay, we need to go down to the root of the problem and figure out why you're this way, you know, and I feel like that's something that we've never really taken in consideration because we're just looking at that person automatically and being like, okay, well, you did this, you're woman beater, that's it, you know?
Ouais.
But never give them the benefit of the doubt to kind of like explain. I mean, okay, yes, ideologically, like, you know, there's no really an explanation for that, but there is a reason behind it to why they are, you know, why they are like that and why they do have such a short temper or anything like that, you know? And
je pense que ça joue aussi avec comment tu réagis quand on te montre quelque chose. Parce que pour revenir sur Jenny, la danseuse, et son copain, lui, sa réaction, il cherche l'attention, il parle de oui, c'est l'objet, etc. Donc, je trouve qu'avec quelqu'un comme ça, t'as moins, parce qu'il est dans le déni, ou juste il assume vraiment pas, mais t'as moins envie de te dire, oh, il a peut-être des problèmes, parce que peut-être aussi qu'il a des problèmes psychologiques. Mais tu penses moins parce que sa position, elle est pas, sa position, c'est pas, yo, I fucked up et j'ai besoin d'aide. Ok, bon, on va passer aux questions bazar.
Yes.
Vous êtes prêts à... Ok, so. Quelle question? Ok, est-ce que ça existe d'être too good pour la première fois? Is there such thing as being too good?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes you're like, wait a minute. Was this like too good for me? Like, you know, was this too good? Like, and you kind of think about it in the sense like, okay, wait a minute. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be like that, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it really happens too when you have chemistry. You know, especially when you have chemistry, it seems like better. I don't know if it's like, let's say, for example, you guys weren't really, you know, intimate before, you know, but maybe the chemistry was very intimate and you felt like, okay, you know, I really like this person and I like how their vibe is. And when you get there, it's like, oh, okay, even the sex is good too, right? Like, you know, I think that's something that is just like, it really happens when you kind of find that chemistry, but it could also happen when you don't find that chemistry too, right? It can really surprise you, you know, and
moi, j'ai pas vécu ça directement, mais il y a quelqu'un que je connais qui je sais, genre, m'avait dit que elle avait couché avec ce gars qu'elle voyait et tout, qu'elle avait commencé à apprendre à se connaître, ça se passait bien. Et quand ils ont couché ensemble, elle a pleuré. Mais elle a pas pleuré c'était juste, elle se disait, comme si elle découvrait que quelqu'un pouvait apprécier son corps de cette manière-là.
Yes.
Et elle n'avait jamais eu ça.
C'est triste. Yes. C'est tellement triste.
C'est d'une manière triste. C'est un côté bien.
Yeah,
mais en même temps,
en même temps, elle a réalisé justement que genre, il y a d'autres choses. C'est ça, il y a d'autres choses out there.
Yeah.
But it's nice when you have somebody that does that for you, right? You know, because you're like, okay, I didn't know I can get to this point. I didn't know I could feel like this. Or maybe you were so used to something for so long that it like kind of took away from even ever being so good, you know? And I feel like sometimes that's why people kind of search outwards, you know? Because they're like, well, yeah, I'm happy with this, but like, you know, maybe there's more, right? There's more out there. But again, it goes back to like, okay, are you satisfied enough to stay in this predicament, you know, rather than kind of soul searching for that too good, you know?
Yeah. Et il faut y croire que tu peux trouver quelque chose de mieux. Mais en fait, ça revient encore, comme tu disais, le self-love thing. Parce que souvent, on peut penser que, OK, that's it. Genre, je trouverais pas mieux, c'est déjà bien ce que j'ai. Mais il faut s'aimer assez pour se dire que, yo, je mérite mieux. Et puis, si je trouve pas mieux, je suis capable de trouver un autre comme ça. Mais bon. Jules, toi, t'as déjà vécu ce truc-là? Quelque chose quelqu'un que tu trouvais que c'était too good?
Trop bien, non. Quand c'est bien, j'aime ça. C'est genre comme trop bien, je vois ça comme genre c'est un peu négatif, comme genre tu te remets en question quasiment. J'ai jamais vraiment remis en question quand c'est trop bien. C'est plus genre quand c'est pas bon. Là. Je comprends. Comme what am I doing here? Genre qu'est-ce que
Yo, t'as tout dit. Ouais, moi aussi, ça m'est pas arrivé, mais quand c'est mauvais, je me suis déjà dit, Karen, quel choix t'as fait pour te mener à ce moment-là présent?
Ça, c'est les pires fois. Mais genre...
Qu'est-ce qui n'a pas marché?
Mais des fois, OK, c'est genre juste des fois que c'était mid. C'est comme, mais j'ai comme un peu gaspillé un body pour rien, tu sais. Genre, c'était pas whack, mais c'était pas, ça valait pas tant la peine, tu sais.
Je vois. Dis-nous, Onisha, est-ce que tu penses que la monogamie, c'est égal monotonie? Genre, c'est forcément plat, c'est tout le temps la même chose.
Well, I don't have a problem with it, you know? I think that it's okay to have one person, right? Yeah. You know, for me personally, I wouldn't be into polygamy, like, you know, having more than one wife, like, you know, one wife or one husband. And, you know, I just think that, like, if I wanted to look for somebody else type of thing, I would just find somebody else, you know, and like end this, you know, because again, yes, sometimes it could be boring, right? You know, it could be boring being with your partner sometimes. You know, it's not always going to be like high and up and up, you know, like you're always going to keep looking for something, you know, but I feel like, you know, if you're willing to and you want to really work in this relationship, you'll find ways, you know, that's something that I keep saying is like, you'll find ways of kind of making the spark come back into this relationship, trying not to make it too boring, but, you know, making it exciting. Maybe something that you guys never did before, you know, like, for example, maybe you've never painted and that could be something that's different. And, you know, you'll learn more about yourself just by that little activity, you know, but I think for me personally, whoever's out there and is, you know, dating more women or more men that's their business, you know. I can't speak for people when it comes to that stuff. If that's what they prefer, no problem. But me personally, you know.
Moi, je pense qu'il y a un truc qu'on dit pas aussi, c'est que, parce que c'est vrai que quand on voit un couple monogame, on a cette image de, ah oui, c'est peut-être un peu plat-plat. Mais même ça, je pense que c'est les films, etc., qui nous ont appris à montrer ça. À penser comme ça. Mais il y a quelque chose qui a beaucoup de valeur quand t'es dans un couple, en tout cas qui fonctionne bien, c'est la paix.
Yo!
La paix d'être avec un bon partenaire et que vous savez ce que vous faites et vous avancez vers vos goals, etc. Et yo, ça n'a pas de prix.
OK, j'ai une question pour toi, Onisha. Comment toi, dans ton couple, tu fais pour pas que ça reste monotone et plate?
Yeah, well, you know, for me personally, I always kind of like think about my business, you know? When I mean like my business, I mean like actually what I'm doing, you know, like my business that I'm running and stuff like that. I always say rebrand. When things are boring, you know, rebrand. And I feel like that's the same with my relationship. It's like, you know, when things are not getting too hype or whatever, like, okay, well, let's go out for a walk, you know, let's go for a different thing, like find, you know, a new place to go to. Like one thing that my boyfriend and I really, really love to do is we love to drive in neighborhoods that have like really nice houses, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, like, and we'll just discover like a new one, you know, like, okay, let's go maybe find a new area to find like nicer houses, you know?
Yeah.
That's something that I love to do. And I feel like that's something that kind of gets us both back on track because when you're seeing these houses, you're seeing your dreams, you know, like, oh, I want this big house. I want a nice family. I want, you know, all of this. I want to be like a millionaire type of thing, you know? It kind of puts you even back on track, like, you know, for your own goals, not just like the relationship itself, but, you know, for yourself, like, what do you want for yourself? And I feel like that's something that kind of gets us back on track, you know? Or, you know, try new things. Like maybe we go to a different restaurant or we find a new activity. Like there's something that we can always, you know, do. And one thing I like to do every month is, you know, to write out my goals for the month, you know?
Okay.
So when I write out my goals for the month, it's like I'm writing out everything. That means even the relationship, right? So it's like, okay, what's my goal for us this month? You know, what are we going to do this month that's different from last month, you know? So that's something that I kind of like to do with him is like, we'll sit down, we'll talk about our goals, we'll figure out like what we want to do for the next, let's say next month, you know, next year, and where we see ourselves. And I kind of feel like that keeps us back on track, you know, because...
C'est un vrai truc. J'aime bien le terme rebrand.
Yes.
C'est vraiment, vraiment bien parce que c'est vrai que on n'est pas stuck. OK, on s'engage à rester ensemble et à atteindre notre goal, mais il n'y a rien qui nous empêche de, comme tu dis, rebrand. Rien ne nous empêche de
Because, you know, the thing is, too, is like, I've always been saying that was like, you know, I find that was like my thing, you know, I was like always telling people to rebrand. Like because I do coaching too, right? So I'm coaching and I'm telling people like, okay, this person's not feeling like she's really good or he's really good in this business right now. And it's like, okay, you know what? Your logo is not that great at this moment. You know, it was good for that moment, but now you've elevated in your business. So why not elevate the logo? See, right there, you're just taking a new step to creating a new business, you know? So that's the whole thing about rebranding. And again, that's not just about your business, but that could be about your life. Because like you said, we're not stuck. It's just in that moment you feel like, okay, this is what's happening for me right now, you know? Which is great. But you can always elevate it and you can always change it and you can always rebrand, you know?
Parce que tu viens de dire quelque chose, là, comme être stock, je vois ça, genre, une différence entre rester assis puis genre rien faire en volonté. Puis genre, être stock, c'est plus genre, mettons dans du quicksand, tu peux pas bouger quand tu veux bouger.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Mais c'est vrai qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui pensent que être dans un couple monogame, c'est ça. Ils pensent que c'est être stuck dans le quicksand.
Yes.
Ouais.
They feel like, okay, well, I can't do anything because I'm with the same partner. You can do so much things. That's what's ridiculous, you know? Like, you forget that. You know, like, what you were neglecting at this point, you know? Maybe you don't know so much about your partner as much as you think you do just because you've been with this partner all this time. Like, we're humans, you know, in that context of what that interviewer said. Yes, we're humans, you know? And we have different feelings and like different things every day, right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe yesterday you liked chocolate. Guess what? Today you hate chocolate. And maybe you hate chocolate for the rest of the time. But maybe your partner doesn't even know that you don't like chocolate anymore. You know? Now you kind of have to think to yourself, like, wait a minute, how come I don't know that you don't like chocolate? Exactly. Why don't you know that I don't like chocolate? Because you're not actually putting in that effort or that time into, you know, this relationship right here, you know? So that's also something too, is like really getting to know each other again, you know? So, you know, it's really that, like.
Est-ce que tu as déjà bragged à tes amis à propos de ton partenaire? Genre, ouais, mon homme, il fait ça ailleurs.
And you know what? Sometimes I'm like, when did I do that? You know? But no, for real, like I would brag about him so much. I'm like, he's so good. He is so, you know, he treats me well. He opens my car door, you know? He'll like whatever, you know, all of these nice stuff you like to brag about your partner. But you know what, too? It's good that you can do that, you know? Because when you can brag about your partner, it means that they're doing something well, you know?
Sure.
I find like if I wasn't to brag about him, he's lacking, you know? Like it's really that. Like, what are you doing that I'm not bragging about right now? Like, you know? But sometimes too, you're kind of like, oh, I wish I didn't brag so much because now things are not 1,000% like as before, right?
Yeah.
You know, but even still that, I think is something that we don't talk about too, right? Because we love to talk about the good stuff, but we never talk about the bad, you know? And I think that that's why, you know, even just your podcast right here is such a good podcast. And it's something that people need to be more aware of, especially about sex, because we don't talk about it. And like I was saying in the beginning to Judrick, right?
Yeah.
I know I didn't say it right.
Yeah,
I know I didn't say it. But what I was saying to you in the beginning is like, even money, that's something that we can't even sit down and talk about, you know? Because they're like, okay, well, that's not a topic we discuss, you know?
Alors qu'on devrait.
It's so it's so good that, you know, it's good to also talk about the bad, you know? Because the bad is what helps you.
Et puis ça rend humain ton partenaire, parce que c'est vrai que quand tu fais que brag, ça lui crée une légende autour de lui. As if il n'était pas humain, mais c'est vrai que parce que tu as parlé de par exemple il va faire plein de choses bien et puis pendant quelques semaines ça va être moins bien et puis tu vas dire parce que moi j'ai ressenti ça dernièrement avec mon partenaire Et, le truc, en fait, c'était que c'est pas comme s'il a changé, mais c'est juste que là, cette semaine, ou il a d'autres choses, il est concentré sur d'autres choses, ou il y a d'autres trucs qui se passent, tu vois. Mais j'étais déjà genre, yo, tu m'as habitué à mieux.
Tu m'as habitué à un lifestyle.
Mais on est humain, c'est vrai qu'on est tous humains, comme je disais la femme. On a des...
And that's why I feel like it's good to speak about the bad too. You know? Like, I mean, okay, depending on how bad, right?
Parce que des fois, j'ai l'impression que justement, on parle plus du mal, comme de qu'est-ce qui va pas que de qu'est-ce qui va. Ça, mettons, genre, admettons, une fille va parler de son copain, genre, juste des mauvais côtés, puis là, après, toutes les amies de la fille n'aiment pas le gars, mais genre, vous savez même pas c'est quoi la vraie relation, puis genre, dans le fond, tout va bien, c'est juste que genre, tu sais, il y a des gens qui aiment juste peut-être plus express qu'est-ce qu'il y a de négatif, juste parce que ça les fait, genre, se sentir mieux, genre, après, genre, comme, j'ai vent, I'm better now.
Yes.
Genre, comme...
Tu ventes, puis après, tu te recouches.
C'est ça.
Sleep so good after that.
Je pense qu'il faudrait juste garder une balance de comme, OK, oui, ça va bien, mais comme, ça va mal ou ça va bien, mais comme juste être real.
And I think that just to even touch on what you said, what's important too is to not doubt yourself just because, you know, something happened that was bad.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're bragging about your person so much, like you were saying before, it's like, you know, we kind of make them seem like they're not human, like they're this perfect robot or something, like, you know, you can only buy in the store and you only get one type of thing, right? Yeah, exactly. Like you spent good money on that, you know? And I feel like, you know, if you don't, when it comes down to the bragging and everything like that, it's good to brag, you know, but it's also good to talk about the bad, you know, because it does happen and it's not something that you can avoid. And we shouldn't be ashamed to like speak about it, you know, because like sometimes there's stuff that he does that I'm like, well, what the fuck, you know, excuse my language, people and viewers, but like, you know,
That's okay.
But it's just like, okay, well, you know, I just spoke so nice about you just like 10 minutes ago. You know what I mean? I was speaking nice about you and now you're doing some bullshit. Like, you know, but again, it's not like you're going to go back after that 10 minutes and be like, oh yeah, this bad stuff happened. It's like, no, you're going to kind of wait for it to see if it prolongs, right? If it continues. And then you're like, okay, well, yeah, this had also happened, you know, and I'm sure that I do some stuff too, you know, that he probably doesn't like either. And well, yeah, it's going to happen, you know, we're in the relationship, right? So it's good to talk about the bad too.
OK. Dis-nous, comment tu réagirais si ton boyfriend, husband, avait mis une autre fille enceinte?
Oh my God.
Laisser un truc, il y a un break, un peu comme Gabrielle Union et...
Mais imagine-toi, il n'y a pas de break.
Il n'y a pas de break?
Comme il met une autre fille enceinte, mais c'était même pas dans un break.
Yo, yeah, cheat and she's pregnant. Non, Insecure, il n'a pas trompé. Anyways.
Sit up for this way. Okay. It's a good topic, actually. You know, it's funny because I never thought that I would be like in a position like that, you know? Mm-hmm. And like I don't want to get into it too much, but I was able to find something, you know, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't, you know, but it was like, oh, asking this person out for a drink, you know, and I'm going to speak about it. I don't even care anymore. Like, again, we have to talk about the bad sometimes too, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, to just find out that, okay, you're talking to somebody else. Like, what did I do on my part?
And it's not even you.
Right? You know, you're but that's the thing too, right? We blame ourselves first. Yeah. You know, because you're like, okay, well, what did I do first that didn't allow you to come and talk to me about this, or for you to hide that even if it is a drink.
For me to ask you a drink.
Right.
To ask me for a drink.
Ask me out. You know? Yeah. Ask me to go for the drink. I'm like, why aren't I in the equation? If she knows about me, then why do you need to go for the drink? Yeah. Like, you know,
why can't I come?
Yeah. Well, I'm together. I'm gonna invite myself. I'm coming. I'm gonna show up. You're going to see me at the next table and I'm going to come and join your table after. Believe me, type of thing. Because, I just remember how upset I was, because not only like did I find it, it was just like, okay, well, I didn't mean to find it this way, but I ended up finding it. And it was really because like I felt like there was a vibe, you kind of feel like a vibe. Yeah. You feel different. You feel something like something's going on and you're like, wait a minute now. No, I know you too well. Something is going on. Who are you talking to?
Wow.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
And me, I'm Caribbean. We act first, like, so we act first, we talk later, like, so I felt like I kind of was able to get all of that information that I needed, right? Mm-hmm. And, sometimes when you hear the reason, you're like, well, what type of bullshit is that,
Yeah.
Right? You're like, well, that could have been a better excuse or something like this, but at the end of the day, I couldn't blame him because at the end of the day too, while we're still grieving, about our son, it's like, I can't blame him for not feeling like he could confide in me at this moment or something like that,
Yeah. Or for not grieving the same way as you do.
Especially that. We need to come on the next episode for that because that is something else,
Non, c'est clair, le grieving est différent.
Yeah.
Comme tu dis, à ce moment-là, l'un ou l'autre, vous savez pas forcément comment ou si vous pouvez parler à l'autre.
Yes.
So, la version facile, là, c'est de...
En parler à quelqu'un d'autre, même peut-être.
Yeah. En parler à quelqu'un d'autre.
Yeah. Because it's like, you're kind of searching for some validation somewhere else. Like, especially if I am crying every day type of thing and you're not crying, right?
And et c'est un huge trauma. Et les gars aussi ont pas le truc en eux. C'est pas la même chose pour eux.
That's it.
Yeah.
Non, but you see, like,
ouais, mais ça veut pas dire qu'il vit pas, donc.
Non, c'est pas ça que je dis.
No. Yeah. It's mostly like in the sense of like, if I'm grieving like this, you want to find somebody that grieves like this as well. Yeah. You want that person to have the same grievance, but it's not necessarily like that, right? And I feel like that's something that I had to learn personally, especially throughout this whole 6 months, was that, okay, we're not going to grieve the same, but I know that he feels the same,
Et
but
c'est vrai
it took a while. Yeah.
Savoir que quelqu'un comprend, ou en tout cas qui vit, même si vous vivez pas les choses de la même manière, mais que il y a en tout cas sur ce niveau-là, vous étiez sur la même page, tu vois.
Yeah.
Même si vous le montrez pas de la même manière, etc. Et c'est vrai que j'imagine en tout cas que juste savoir ça change complètement la façon de voir les choses sur.
That's it. Exactly. Because, I feel like, especially with everything that was going on over the last 6 months, of course, me, I'm I carried the baby, right?
Yeah.
It's not like as if I was the one that put my thing in, and I was carrying the baby. I gave birth to the baby, I seen his face. He seen his face. So it was like, okay, this is, something that I'm never going to forget, and especially with COVID, unfortunately, when I heard the news that we had to lose the baby, I was by myself, it wasn't like I was with him, so again, that's it. So and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to tell him that we're going to lose the baby, And just that like 5 minutes, it's like, okay, we're going to lose the baby. And then it's not even just that we're going to lose the baby. It's that I have to give birth to the baby and then lose the baby,
Yeah.
So I'm completely grieving different than him, and I know he's not going to understand why I'm grieving the way I am or why, but at the end of the day, I can't do anything about that,
Yeah.
It's just going to have to pass when it passes, but it's not going to pass, unfortunately, right now, like it's only been 6 months, and it's like, some people see that as like, yeah, but it's been a long time. You should forget about
long time.
Yeah, right? If you've only heard the things I've heard.
Yo, 6 mois, c'est hier, là. J'ai eu 31 ans il y a 6 mois, genre.
Like, 6 months pass like this. It's funny because in April, I was literally like, oh, Onisha, you have to get stuff done because the baby's coming in 5 months. Like, the baby's coming in September. Hurry up. You have to get this. You have to get this done. You have to. And then it's just so funny how now I'm in this predicament of October right? And you're like, my God, look how fast that passed. Yeah. Exactly like how I said it would, you know?
C'est vrai que ce que tu dis, ça me fait penser au fait que c'est vrai que, bon, maintenant, on commence de plus en plus à entendre parler des miscarriage et tout, là, des fausses grossesses, des fausses couches, etc.
Yeah.
Mais avant, pas du tout, parce que on n'imaginait pas à quel point c'est vraiment très, très, très commun des pères, tu vois. Et donc, moi, j'ai une amie aussi qui a perdu sa fille, son bébé. Elle était à terme, pareil, elle a dû l'accoucher. Et le truc, c'est que en fait, il y a plein d'autres aspects auxquels on pense pas et on parle pas. Mais par exemple, elle était en congé maternité. Tu dois retourner au travail. Son autre fille lui expliquer que machin, son copain, on avait fait la baby shower, tu rentres à la maison, t'as tous les vêtements. Enfin, il y a tellement d'étapes et de trucs et si t'as pas quelqu'un autour de toi qui a vécu ça, t'ignores complètement tout ce qu'il y a. Complètement.
Because even like to go back to what you said, you know, as soon as I had gotten back home after the hospital, I was like looking at all of the stuff that I had bought for him, or that we had received for him, right? And it's like I packed it up all one time, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring it to my mom's because I can't sit here and stare at this, you know. But I also had to tell myself, like, you know, okay, there has to be a way to get through this, you know. And I was like, okay, one of the things that I was doing when I found out I was pregnant was I was writing to him. So I would write to him every day. Well, I tried as much as I could because I was like really nauseous with him, you know. But I came home after the hospital, after losing him. They gave me a box, you know, of his stuff, like the clothes he was wearing, everything like that. And I found my journal and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to 90 days. 90 days writing to him every day, you know, because I wasn't able to write to him while I was sick. So I'm like 90 days writing to him every day, how I'm feeling, how I'm acting, you know, how this grievance is going, how I'm dealing with his death, everything. And then I turned it into a book. So I was like, you know what? I want people to read it to see how it is. Because you know what? People think that because you had a miscarriage, you have to be silent. You have to be like, oh, no, it didn't happen. Yes, it happened. It happened. And I'm not going to forget my baby. I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to, like, you know, there's too many things that happen. Like you were saying, clothing, dates, you know, significant dates. Like this baby was due September 14th. And my birthday is October 14th. So I was like so excited for that. Like, I'm like, we're going to have our birthdays, you know, like, you know, I'm planning everything. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a cake for his day. Like, you know, but then it comes down to this and I'm like, wow, I'm celebrating it here without him. You have holidays. Like I was so excited for him to see Christmas presents type of thing, you know? That's the type of things that you think about when you're going to have a kid. And it's like, okay, now Christmas is coming. I don't have the baby. You know, it's so, you know, it goes back to like what you were saying before about, you know, how do you react when it comes to, you know, finding out that your partner talks to somebody else while, you know, and especially you were saying like, I think in the movie, the girl was pregnant, you know? She was pregnant, right?
Yeah.
So you see, like when I had found out, we had just buried our son. So it was like, but he wasn't saying anything like, you know, again, it wasn't anything like to that point, you know, but again, to the extent to just even know the intention or whatever intention you were trying to have is still like, no, you know, like, no, you tell me this is what we agreed on in the beginning is that when we started, we said, if there's somebody, you tell me, you know what I mean? So that's really it. And I feel like at that point, I'm still kind of like building up my trust with him, you know? And again, you see, going back to what you said before about like tracking, you know? I'm not that type of person. I'm not a tracker, you know? But again, when you see like, if you see them texting somebody, you're trying to like look over and be like, who you talking to, you know, who you talking to, who you hanging out with, like, you know, now you kind of get like suspicious about everything, which sucks, you know, because again, it takes time to get back to that point because again, you start to doubt yourself, you know, the confidence in yourself, and you start to see like, well, what did I do? How did I get here? Like, you know.
Je tiens à te remercier, Onisha, parce que merci d'avoir été transparente et de partager ça avec nous, parce que je pense que tu vas aider des femmes qui vivent ça, des auditrices à nous qui vivent ça, et même d'autres qui l'ont pas encore vécu, mais qui vont savoir, ouais, j'avais entendu telle personne quand j'écoutais l'épisode, et tu sais, ça prépare et tout. Donc, merci à toi, et avec tes livres aussi.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say one more thing is that, you know, there was a quote that I had heard, like maybe I'd say a couple of weeks ago. And it's so funny because it's a quote that I know so often, and we've all heard it before. It's like, you know, if you give, you will receive, you know? That's something that we hear often, right? Yeah. But I heard an episode that said the opposite of it. And it was like, if you receive, you can give, you know? And it's so funny because even just reversing that had given a different perspective.
Yeah.
And hearing that, you know, the more you receive, the more you can give. And it's true. If you are not receiving anything, how can you give to somebody? How can you give love if you're not receiving it yourself? How can you give attention if you're not receiving it yourself? You need to be able to receive that. Even sex, right? How could you receive like really great sex if you're not giving it yourself, like getting it yourself, you know? Yeah. How could you be your best self if you're not getting any best self from anybody else, you know? Yeah. So you kind of have to look at that perspective. And I was like, you know what? Again, I have to allow myself, you know, to have my moments. If I can't give you something right now, that's too bad. I don't have it. I can't give it to you. So when I have it, I can give it, you know? Yeah. And I think that is what kind of like kept me going now, because you see, like losing my son was the worst thing that's ever happened to me, you know? But you see some people who are not living that experience won't understand that, you know? So what I can give you now is, yes, I can give you, you know, some time to talk. I can come on the podcast. I can, you know, do all these different things at this moment. But sometimes if I don't want to be on the podcast, I won't do it, you know? Yeah. And if I don't have the energy to like speak to you on the phone today, I won't do it. And if I don't have like, you know, if I don't have, right, I can't give it to you. Yeah. But you see, today I have it. So I can give it to you. You know what I mean?
Glad. And we're glad.
Yeah, we're super glad.
Thank you so much.
C'est une très belle note. Onisha, est-ce que tu veux laisser tes réseaux sociaux pour que les gens puissent voir, buy tes books, check un peu ce que tu fais, parler avec moi. En plus, tu nous as dit que tu fais 1 milliard de choses.
Yes. So I'm still working on my website at this moment, but you can follow me definitely on Instagram at I am Onisha Lewis. And I also am on Amazon. My 4 books are on Amazon. They're Self-Care Tips for a Queen, Self-Care Tips Fit for a King. I also have 5 Steps to Embracing Your Grief. And the last one, my favorite one, I Love You Little Bean. So those are all on Amazon at this moment. And, you know, like, I think it's just easier to talk to me through Instagram, just because, you know, you'll definitely get a response quicker. Through Facebook and stuff, I'm on it, but not like Instagram, you know? So definitely reach me there. My website will be up soon, and hopefully get to talk to you guys some more, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Donc, merci à toi. Jude, comment on fait pour entrer en contact avec toi?
Moi, c'est Jude d'expérience sur toutes les plateformes. Je Twitch au moins 1 fois par semaine, des fois 2. Sinon, c'est pas mal tout. Et toi, Karen?
Moi, vous me rejoignez sur Instagram @weshkaren, sur YouTube @weshkaren. Et Jude, je te laisse faire les annonces de fin.
Shout à Choc pour la diffusion. On est sur Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play Store, whatever, et autres. YouTube, j'étudie. En tout cas, suivez-nous. Donnez-nous des 5 étoiles, laissez des commentaires. C'est toujours le fun d'interagir avec vous. Shout à Marou qui donne tout le temps des commentaires.
Marou est dope. Marou, on t'aime.
Shout à Jessica qui a acheté un merch.
Love you, Jessica.
Oui. Puis c'est ça. On se revoit la semaine prochaine pour notre épisode d'Amour des sexes.
Bye.
Bye.